back up on Dartmoor with Lassie, who's down there. Having a good nose around. It's very windy, so I hope you're picking up my voice. So this is Wild Tour. I've just come from Hound Tour, which you can't actually see, but it's in that direction. And directly up there is Hanging Stone Hill. The time at the moment is 1:25. We'll have to sort of get going a bit. I didn't get here until quite late today. It was about 12 o'clock when I started, which is quite late for me. So I've still got about 3 hours, well actually 2.5 hours of daylight left. The sun sets at 4. Although you get at least half an hour after that. And the latter part of the walk, well, all the walk is easy going, not that I want to do it all in the dark. But the latter part is very, very easy. So that won't be a problem in the dark. If I don't get there by 4. I'm not sure whether it's focusing on that or not, I can't see. But the wind is about 12 miles an hour, the temperature is 3.5 with a wind chill of -2 at the moment. It's about 2:30 at the moment, sun directly in my eyes behind the camera. There's still about an hour and a half of daylight left. So I'm just debating whether to cut a small corner off just up here, which won't save an awful lot of time, just a little bit, or go on up to the tour up the top up there, and then go down to bypass Fen where the reservoir. I should stick to this side of the trees to save some time. So my aim is to get to camp about 4, just as it's getting dark, but hopefully with a tiny bit of light left. I've just got this little stream here to cross, and with waterproof my waterproof shoes on, I might see if I can go straight across, as long as it's not too deep. We can see that Lassie is in there. She's just an absolute natural when it comes to water. She just wants to play with it all the time. But looking at that, that does look quite deep actually, so I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get across here or not yet. Right, we've got over the water okay. I stepped across the stones. My foot went down on one loose stone, but thankfully I got my foot out quickly enough so the boot didn't flood. That's one disadvantage, of course, with waterproof shoes. You flood that, you are stuck. I was just thinking, all these years I've been filming, people probably think I'm talking to myself. But actually, well, I suppose I am talking to myself still. Talking to my own shadow. I'm being shadowed. But I think to just to save a couple of minutes as I'm chatting as well, I'm just going to go through this gate here and then follow the path straight towards those trees and miss out the tour, which is up there, and Stat's house, which is in that direction. One other thing, I brought my Black Diamond ultra distance Z poles on this trip. The reason for that is, of course, because I've got the Nammatj 3 GT with me. I won't need to use any poles for pitching, so I thought I would bring the lightest because obviously the pack's heavy. I thought I'd save weight somewhere else, so I brought the lightest walking poles that I have, which is these. Lassie once again is playing in water. Well, you know how I said I wouldn't be walking through Fenworthy Forest? Well, the path that I was on sort of brought me straight up to Fenworthy Forest. I could have gone around the outside, but I thought, well, as I've walked up to it, I may as well walk through it and then just out the other side. It's easy enough. That is one advantage of just sort of being completely free and easy out here. You can sort of walk pretty much where you like on any hike, obviously not just Dartmoor, but anywhere. But yes, it is nice to be able to just walk around and think, right, well, today we're going to go that way, tomorrow we'll go t'other way. Right, well, what should have been a shortcut, well, actually it would have been a tiny bit further anyway, but what should have been a relatively easy trek through Fenworthy Forest has turned into a lot longer than I'd anticipated. It's 3:40 and I'm going to have, unfortunately, no choice but to go down to Fenworthy Reservoir, which I had no intentions of going anywhere near, and then up Thornworthy Tor and out to camp that way. So I'm definitely not going to get to camp until after dark, but it's a clear night. I think there was it's either a full moon or a moon, so I think it'll be quite plenty of light. And when I was in the lakes with Chris a few weeks ago, I pitched the duo mid. Of course, this isn't the duo mid, this is the Nammatj, but I pitched the duo mid in the dark without any problems. So I've got a torch. But it's just more of a inconvenience than anything else. I didn't intend to come through here. Never mind, needs must. Like I say, you never know where you're going to go on a journey like this. So I'm going to concentrate on my footing and keep going. Well, while I'm down here, I'll just quickly film the reservoir. If you remember from when I was here last time, it wasn't empty, obviously, but it was way down. It's completely full up now. We're back up to where it's always been. Excuse the slight smear on the lens. I think a hailstone landed on it a minute ago. Right, well, we've made camp. I'm not sure quite what the time is. Let's have a look. It's 5:20. I've got Lassie eating. I've given her, she's on a waterproof bed she's got a foam mat under there to lie on, and I've put a blanket down here, and I've got one more blanket there. They're very, very thin blankets, but it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. I'll have to dry her off as well because she's a bit wet at the moment, so we'll just have to see how she goes. She's got a toy there, food here, which she's eating out of there, so I'll have to put water in that water bowl in a minute. At the last minute, normally I bring a 2 litre water bottle and a 1 litre water bottle. At the last minute I thought, because I've got Lassie, I need extra water, so I brought an extra 2 litre water bottle. But of course, when I store them at home, I always take the tops off to let the air get in so they don't go mouldy and horrible. But of course, for some stupid reason, never done it before, I didn't bring the top with me. So I'll have to make sure that one doesn't fall over. So that's going to be obviously the first one to use. This of course is the Nammatj 3 GT, which you saw in my previous video. Here's my feet here. So to use my infamous new measurement, that's the measurement there of knee to foot. So that's a half a leg length. And my half leg length doesn't even reach the pack over there, which, as you can see, isn't anywhere near the back. So there's an absolute ton of room in here. I mean, for one person, this is almost as ridiculous or more ridiculous than the Super Mid, to be honest, for one. But I got it for the same reason as the Super Mid, to be honest, sort of looking to the future. So inside, I'll give you a proper nose around in a minute. Obviously I've got my foam mat there. I'm going to have to try and keep Lassie out of the inner, so we'll just see whether she figures that out. So I don't want her wet inside. I've bought the down mat, which I'm going to pump up in a minute, and I've bought a pump, an X-pad, and I brought an X-pad pump to pump it up. The other airbeds I blow directly into, but the down mat you do not want to be putting your breath in there because you're going to get the down damp over time. So I've brought a pump cum pillow for that. Lassie has suddenly decided she wants to just stand outside, and sure, I've got her attached to the pack, and of course I've had to bring my larger GoLite pack with me today. I've left the door open. Again, it's my personal preference. I don't really like being or want to be shut in unnecessarily. If it rains, of course, and rain starts to come in, then it'll be easy enough to do up. And again, you know, other people, or if you're with someone and they prefer to be, you know, shut in, then that's easily done. So I'm going to pump up the down mat in a minute, and I've got a food bowl there which I need to get some tea going shortly as well, and I brought my tablet as it's a winter camp, and I've also brought my Kestrel. The temperature at the moment is 2.6, 2.7 centigrade, so it's about 2.4. It's very, very sensitive, the Kestrel, so it does change very rapidly up and down to slight variances. So it's about 2.5 degrees at the moment. And again, I've just put the Kestrel in that little side pocket there. So I've sorted Lassie out. As you can see, that's her. She's just popped out. So I've put her bed there, and we'll see if she settles down on that this evening. Okay, Excellent. Lassie has settled on her bed there. She's not quite on it, but not bad. She's having a wash, so that's good. She did pop outside just for a minute. Didn't do anything, just went out, which was good. It's okay. She's attached, so she couldn't go anywhere. And then she's settled down and washing herself off at the moment. I was just, I've taken my shoes off, put them back there, so I've just got my smart wool socks on. They're sort of marginally damp, it's probably from sweat as much as anything, but it does make a bit of a change for me to have dry socks at the end of the day, so that's quite a nice novelty. So I was just in here, I was starting to pump the air mat up. I was having a bit of a pump, and let's see. Hopefully that lights me up. Scare everybody off. That's nearly 1,500 subscribers gone. So that's probably the first thing I ought to do. Is, you know, thank 1,500 of you for subscribing to my channel and you know, watching and listening and putting up with my nonsense and drivel and all that sort of stuff. But it's been a good journey, and you know, I've enjoyed it. So as I say, not far off 1,500, so thank you very much for that. Yeah, so you know, I was out here in the middle of Dartmoor pumping the mat up, and you know, you do have thoughts going through your mind, as obviously many of you, or some of you know, histories and things like that. But I was pumping that up, and I don't know how anyone could really not enjoy this. This is just such fun out here. You're sort of making your bed, you could do your food in a minute. I don't know, this is just absolutely fantastic, and I really do highly recommend it. Lassie, here. Although obviously a campsite would be much better, so everybody, as I say, as usual, go to the campsites, not out in the middle of Dartmoor. Lassie suddenly decided to have a little wander. She wants to sit outside. That's the collie, I suppose. Nice cosy bed, one dog outside. But yes, as I was saying, this really is the life of Riley, and this, I'll tell you, this shelter, this is just epic. I mean, this, you know, buy yourself a Sherpa, maybe get Ron at MLD to make a Cuban fibre Sherpa or something like that to carry this around with you, because this is just, I love it. This is just fabulous. It's crazy. Yeah, I highly recommend one of these. Obviously, a Mountain Oil Designs tent is much better, of course, but this is quite something else if you're willing to lug 4 kilograms around with you, which I'm not going to be doing by myself very much, but I say, for once, now and again, this really is the life of Riley. Are we allowed to say that these days? Right. Anyway. There's probably some EU ruling on that, but right. Anyway, I better carry on having a bit of a pump. Better carry on having a pump, and we'll do a bit more in a minute. God knows what this is going to come down like, but I'll see you soon. Right, there's one minor problem with the Hilleberg, and that is that Hilleberg have designed it for right-handed people, not for squiffy-handed left-handers like me, because I like to sort of lie on my right, left, right, yeah, I like to lie on my right elbow for doing things, reading or whatever, having a cup of tea. So of course, lying on this side, the door is over there. Hilleberg, you need to make a left-handed tent with a door over there, so I've got a view outside. I can't see a thing even with the door open. I'm lying on the wrong side. I'm lying on the wrong side. Anyway, that's a pretty minor thing, but I hadn't thought of that until I suddenly was lying down in the tent. So if you're a right-handed person, you'll be fine sleeping over there. I'd have to sleep on this side if there was two of me. Two of me? Oh God, I don't want two of me. No, one of me is more than enough. If there was two people in here, then I'd have to sleep on this side, because otherwise I'd be sleeping with my nose in the side of the staff. Oh dear. Two of me. Anyway, it's time to get some food on, or some drink. Lassie went outside, but she's thankfully used her common sense and brought herself in a nice bed which I've put down. She's gone and shifted. I tell you, they're not fussy dogs. They just settle down. So anyway, we'll see how she gets on. And that's the view outside, which of course I can't see. Right, anyway, I better start making something to drink. Just to give a little bit of perspective, well, my aim was to run right down the middle, because I thought, well, I may as well make the most of the height, and that's almost what I've done, but I am slightly over to the left, in all honesty. As you can see, that's the middle line over there, so I am slightly to the left, although normally I'm more to the right. But anyway, I'm over on the left, so I'm a bit left-handed, so I'm over on the left, and as you can see, there's, you know, stacks of room over here. This will make sense in a minute. Now, over on this side, I've put out a mat here. This is one of my foam mats. That's what I've put under Lassie. And I've brought this one along as well, so if I need extra insulation under my bed, you know, I have it. But it does give a pretty good indication of space on that side. So if you have, you know, if there's two of you, obviously you'd have the mats together here, and then that would run down the middle, and as I say, you've got a ton of room my side, so I could shift over a bit, and you've still got, you know, as you can see, you know, a good 6 inches or so of space over there. So that's, you know, at least 6 inches there. I don't know what that is in. At least, let's use a Tony measurement. That's at least one stretched out hand measurement there. Oop. Right, food, drink. Right, I just wanted to show you how, let's see if I can light Lassie up, how settled Lassie is this time. And thankfully she had gone over onto the, right, yeah, she was lying on the grass, and then she was sort of half on the mat over there. But thankfully, with a bit of cajoling from me, and hopefully maybe a bit of collie common sense, she's lying on the Thermarest mat. Now, I deliberately brought this mat with me because it's got the eggshell type effect on it, so I thought that would give more insulation, because as most of you will be aware, a collie of course has a double coat, so I'm not too worried about her coat. And again, she's got a towel there, blanket if needed, but she's not not shivering or shaking or anything. Seems quite comfortable there. Yeah, I was thinking with the eggshell effect that would just give more insulation under her. And also I was thinking it would give her coat a chance to sort of maybe sort of being a bit ahead of myself here, but maybe just allow her coat a chance to sink down into the sort of eggshell type thing and expand a bit. And that's another reason why I'm not such a big fan of the idea of putting a coat on a collie. I know a couple of people have said put a coat on. I mean, yes, okay, a coat may warm a dog up, but I can't help but think that with a collie, especially with a double coat and a thick coat, she's got a very, very thick, long coat, I can't help but think that actually putting a man-made coat on her would compress her fur or her coat and make her own natural coat a lot less effective. And of course, if a man-made coat isn't as effective as her natural coat, then well, I think you know what I'm trying to say. I've taken her harness off, so she's not actually attached to anything. But as you know, I closed the door. Or did I say I've closed the door? The only reason I've closed the door, it's not really to keep Lassie in, although now I've taken the harness off, that's not such a bad thing. But because I'm not even looking out the door, because I can't see the door, because I'm left-handed, so I'm looking at the at a blank wall anyway, I thought, well, we may as well try this this sort of door closed malarkey that some people quite like. So I have zipped myself up. Just thought, you know, I've hardly ever zipped myself up in a tent or a tarp or shelter before. So on this occasion I thought, let's I can't see out anyway, so let's zip it up and see what all the fuss is about with being sort of shut away. Obviously I'm not going to do the inner up out again by myself, but you know, it's easy to do if you wanted to be, you know, shut up inside here as well. So yeah, so I've taken the harness off. What I was thinking with the harness, again, it seemed to be compressing her coat, and I can't see the point of compressing a dog's natural coat, because they're hardly going to keep warm if you're sort of pressing down on their own, you know, body, you know, fur and everything. So that was my theory on that anyway. So I might have to, if I do take the harness off again and I'm in the trail style or something, then I may need to attach the lead to her collar. So I just thought I'd just show you her sleeping quite peacefully there. Good morning. It's Lassie thought I was talking to her. It's nearly 8 o'clock in the morning. I overslept. Well, not overslept. I don't normally get up until about 8 at home. But out here, I'm normally awake much earlier than 8 o'clock in the morning. I think being cocooned, completely cocooned inside, maybe that helped me sleep past when I would normally be waking up. By myself, I'm normally leaving by just after 8. So about an hour behind, I think, today. Still, it was very relaxing sleep anyway. Woke up about 3 o'clock, a little bit cool, not much, so I just snuggled down into the sleeping bag a bit more. I just had one base layer on, for this is my warmest winter bag, and I wasn't exactly roasting in it. Temperature went down to about 1 degree, I think, last night. Lassie has shifted off of her mat and is just sleeping comfortably over there at the moment. So I can't give you a weather forecast or any indication for what's going on outside because of course I can't see anything. Sounds breezy, it feels breezy out there. I think they did forecast a breeze. Just thought I'd share a bit of insider knowledge on something that I've been doing for a while and I've been meaning to tell you and I kept forgetting. A good way for cleaning your pots, and of course you probably do it already, but in case you don't, a good way for cleaning your pots is if you're making a cup of tea, put the old get the old bag to use and wipe the tea bag around your pot. You can still drink the tea's perfectly drinkable. I mean, okay, you probably wouldn't drink it like that at home with tiny bits of porridge in your tea, but how you're out here, so a tiny bit of porridge in your tea isn't exactly going to hurt you. So that's how I clean my pot, and they get pretty squeaky clean like that. So that might be a bit of useful information for you. In fact, doing it like that, when I poured it out, none of the porridge came out, and I ended up having to, because I had to drop too much water, so I ended up just knocking out the last little bit of porridge left. And that's the result. One very clean pot. There you go. Bit of free consumer advice. And who says you don't get anything free in this world? So I'll have to think of a way of charging you all for that, because nothing's free. What do you reckon, Lassie? She's still asleep over there. It's 8:15 now. So we've been in here probably since 5 o'clock last night, because we didn't get here until gone 4:30. So it must have been nearer 5:30. So it's 5:30 until, well, by the time we open the door it's going to be 8:30. So it's quite a few hours she's been in here just chilling out, relaxing. She's never once come over and pestered me or anything. She's just taken it to a duck to water, or a collie to camp, and just yeah, gone with it. And just know, I suppose the collie brain maybe, because at home at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, she's still active. She wants to go. She wants to play. She's running around the house. But out here, and if I go to bed, then you know, she knows that that's the end of play. So hopefully that is sort of transferred out here. Just one observation, or a couple of observations that I make, and it's sort of in defence of the shelters I have been using, to be honest. Obviously I've closed the vent now, but I had that vent open and the outside vent open. Admittedly I did not open you know, the vent over there, but of course I kept this open. So I guess any dampness from there was going to come into here anyway. But I did notice that the inner of this is you know, it's not soaked by any means, but there is condensation there. As you can see, just about. Another thing that I noticed, and I've certainly noticed it before with sleeping bags, but not to the same degree, I noticed that during the night the head end of the sleeping bag, sort of around here, pretty sure it was around there, was absolutely saturated. It really felt quite wet anyway. And obviously being in here, there's absolutely no chance of rain getting in. It couldn't have been splash, because that would have been so much splash it would have woken me up. So that level of liquid could only have come from my breath. And that is quite, I was quite surprised how damp it was. By this morning it had dried out a little bit. I think I'd moved around a bit, or maybe was breathing on a different bit. but I was quite surprised how damp the outside near my head of the sleeping bag got. It is really blustering up now. I probably could have done with waking up an hour earlier, because I would have got away before this this breeze picked up. But never mind, I've started packing away. I've put the sleeping bag in the pack. Next thing to do is to roll down the air mat and put that away. And then just put all the other incidentals away. There are just small bits then. Obviously the Nammatj 3 GT will have to go inside the pack, but obviously not until I'm outside. Otherwise I'll be packing myself in the pack. Right, well I'll carry on. And again, you know, thank you to all for watching. If I don't get a chance to, you know, to say thank you outside. And again, thank you to all the subscribers as well. It's just a bit of fun. And I enjoy the comments, and thank you very much.